Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries. It's time for another video in my series RPG Bugbears. Now, if you're anything like me and you've been role-playing for a while, then you've probably got a lot of bestiary books. Books crammed full of various beasties for your game. In fact, go and have a look at your games collection now. It's alright, I'll wait. Had a look at your games collection? Good. If it's anything like mine, you'll have dozens of tomes crammed to bursting with oodles of monsters waiting to bring the pain to hapless adventurers in your party. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Come a little bit closer. A little bit closer. Most of the monsters in those various books are exactly the same, or at least so similar to be practically indistinguishable from each other. Now, I'm no stranger to this. I've got loads of bestiaries. Here's a few of them. I've got Advanced Fighting Fantasy bestiaries, D&D 3.5 bestiaries, Rogue Trader Fantasy Flight Games bestiaries, D&D 4th Ed bestiaries, more D&D 4th Ed bestiaries, and so on and so forth. And whilst I can appreciate some duplication is bound to occur, just exactly how many stats do we need for D20 orcs? I mean, really? Now, there are thankfully some books that try and put a bit of an interesting spin on their creatures, or give them a bit of a different backstory, such as Within the Ring of Fire or Corporea that I've just reviewed. But by and large, most bestiary books don't try that hard, to be perfectly honest, giving you a simple stat block and some brief, normally fairly generic information. So, what's the answer to this and what can you do about it? Well, if you're looking for a monster that's a little bit more original, I would recommend going back to the original source material. There are dozens of books out there that talk about real-world mythology. I've got a couple of my favourites here. I've got this giant dictionary of mythology that I sometimes use, and also books that talk about more popular works of fiction, such as I've got this, one of my favourites here, a Tolkien Bestiary by David Day that discusses the creatures and places of the Tolkien Middle-earth mythology. Now, a lot of these books are entirely free of the game restraints which can sometimes mar RPG bestiaries, and they can be used to add a dash of originality and just a sprinkle of something a little bit extra to your games. Failing that, I would suggest that you pick up a short story anthology, many of which have particular themes for the anthology and will give you loads of ideas for variant monsters. For instance, I've got one here which is all about werewolves, I've got another one here which is all about zombies, and I've got another one here which is all about vampires. Now, the great thing about these is, obviously the authors want to make their short stories stand out from the others, so there will be numerous variations on a theme to give you different ideas for vampires, for werewolves, whatever the theme of the anthology may be. And there'll be something there that you can take for your own game. But what about the stats, I hear you cry? Well, to be honest, don't worry so much about them. No one really remembers that fight against a 2-hit dice orc that they killed. No one's going to be telling that story in years to come. However, the weird cannibalistic mountain men that gain their strength from drinking the blood of their foes in strange rites around the campfires is an entirely different matter. And to be honest, they may have identical stats. It's all about how the creature is portrayed. So, if I was going to offer you some advice, I'd say expand your pool of reference and embrace some different ideas to those found in standard RPGs. And you won't find yourself confronted with players looking blasé and yawning, oh no, look, it's another orc. in your games. So that's my RPG Bugbears video on monster manuals and bestiaries of all kinds being very similar to each other. I hope if you've enjoyed this video you consider clicking on like and clicking on the red dice up there to subscribe to my channels. If you have any comments, as always, please leave them in the box below or hit me up in the Google Plus links. I really do enjoy reading what you write. Until I see you next time, thank you very much for watching this video and for listening. Take care.